Hello YouTube, it's Dabo Fett again. Um, Coming in with another knife video. So this is the Kershaw Zing stainless. It's got stainless scales, a polymer back spacer, 8CR13 MOV steel, as you'll see in most Kershaws. Made a little square knot lanyard for it. Got my co-host, and yeah. So one thing I noticed about doing this series and this channel is that this is kind of forcing me of going through some of my rotation, some of the knives I don't really carry that often in my own collection. Just because like before I did this channel, I was kind of stuck in my ways and only kind of favored certain knives. And now that I'm kind of going back and carrying more knives that I haven't really touched in a while, I'm coming to find that I have a lot of knives that I really like that I don't know why I really didn't give a big chance to in the first place. Maybe because I didn't use them as often and so they just kind of got forgotten. But whatever whatever may be, yeah. So this is one I've been carrying for about a week and a half now, and I've come to really enjoy this knife. Um, I've really liked it. Originally, what had stopped me from carrying this specific knife was, I don't think it'll show up here. Come on, we can do it. Yeah. So if you can see, just a little bit of the tip of the knife broke off. When I first got this knife, and from there I just was afraid to carry it because I didn't want to break this knife, because it really does have a really petite tip. It's really thin, and I guess that's really what originally scared me from carrying this. So like I said, this is the Kershaw Zing stainless steel. They had a variant of this one before this, but I didn't know when I got this one. This one was the only one I knew of. So another RJ design, the 1730 SS stainless steel, made in China. This is a Kershaw knife, and I really like the belly and the draw point here. This also has a really shallow hollow grind. Just amazing slicer. Like cutting through boxes with this thing was just a dream. It goes through just about anything I've cut, like butter. Boxes, packaging, food packaging, zip ties. This thing just slices through everything just so effortlessly. And the edge on this, the relief edge, is really shallow also. You see it's really wide. I'm not sure the angle on here, but yeah, like it comes almost to a razor edge, and this is out of box. I didn't touch up this blade. This is what it's like out of box. Just this really wide, excuse me, angle. And yeah, so some other things, there's some jimping here, but that's not really, there's no traction there. That's pretty much just there for looks. This is a speed safe line, so it is spring assisted, a really strong spring. Yeah, I really like the spring in this one. 3-point pocket clips. I could do left-handed tip up, right-handed tip up, tip down. Frame lock. One thing I noticed tonight that I never really noticed until tonight was this little paddle here on the lock bar. The lock bar on this one hasn't really broken in yet, so it still takes a little bit. They used to, if you can see, it gnars up my nail a little bit on there. Um, so yeah, it's got a really strong lock bar, and that hasn't really broken in yet. It's gotten better, but it's not really the best. But yeah, this little paddle here makes things really easy, and I didn't really notice that, like I said, until tonight, which is a really cool because a lot of this frame is even with this side, except for that little paddle, which is makes this lock side very minimalistic, which is really nice. I think it's really cool, at least for the design of the blade, to keep these liners flush. And the other thing, especially for this being stainless, again, I still haven't gotten my scale yet, but for no milling, no routing out of the scales, especially for a stainless um, frame and a stainless blade, of how light this is compared to like another knife I want to get eventually, the Cryo 2, which is also a stainless knife about this size. And that one's like almost twice the weight of this guy. This one I bought about a year or two ago, either at Walmart or Fred Meyer's. I'm not sure which one, but either way, it was on clearance. So the store was discontinuing this blade, so I don't know if this is a discontinued knife. I haven't really checked into that yet. But if you could find one, I would say get it. I love this guy. The ergonomics are really nice. Everything just fits into the hand really well. This thumb ramp, like I've said in other videos with other knives, I really love something with a nice thumb ramp. Gives me a lot of control. You get a little indentation up here to get over the blade. So if you really want to get in there and open something. Or the way I like using these indentations too is actually this way. And gives me a little bit more stability and control for opening packages and something. For giving some downward torque here. And that's how I use these grooves, is usually never with the thumb over. I usually do it with the index finger. Yeah, so as they say, the presentation side tightens from one side. The other side's open here. I haven't really tried to open these guys and clean it out. Because I have another speed safe knife that I'll be showing later. But the only reason I haven't is because I'm not the best at putting back together spring assist knives. Like I notice whenever, I don't know if I'm putting the spring in incorrectly, but I always mess up the blade centering, and being able to have it loose enough to have a strong spring and keeping the blade centered. So I'm not the most confident in servicing my spring assist knives. And the media blast on this, to me, the camera doesn't really pick it up, but in person it almost looks like a stone wash because, oh yeah, there you see all those little marks and scrapes and dings. So it looks like they almost put a clear coat over the media blast. Because I'm starting to get like almost a stone wash effect just from carrying it and using it. Because I'm not the the most gentle with my gear. So like when I'm opening stuff, when I'm using it at work, if I have to set it down, I just fucking toss it. I probably should be nicer to my gear, but that's just how I fucking am. Like after I use it, whatever. I'm not an asshole. I don't do this when there's people around me, but if it's just me and I'm doing this, I'll just toss it over, open boxes, dig in boxes, whatever. And then I'll kind of pick it up, move on to next task, use my knife, kind of like toss it wherever. Sorry, buddy. And yeah, so just from in regular use like that, like I said, it's almost giving it this really cool stonewash effect. And then we'll see if we can get to focus again and if we can get the right angle. But if you see right there by the Kershaw logo where it's a little darker, it's the same thing. It's kind of like that clear coat has worn off just from regular use. But under that clear coat, where it's bead blasted, it hides the scratches and the dings really well. And this thing, you can't really see the use in it. In person, I can maybe see like one or two hairline scratches, but the bead blast really hides the wear on this knife really nicely. So if you want something that'll keep its original look too, this one's a really nice way to go. Because like I said, this, however they bead blasted this, just really hides the wear really nicely. Kind of keeps that new look to it. Let's see, what else can I say about this guy? I'm not sure the lengths, so I'm not gonna try and guesstimate anything. But if I had to, I'd say 3 1/4. A little on the smaller side. Again, a size I like for EDC, especially at work. Like I said, I work in a chain box grocery store, so I like to keep low profile with my knives. Even with the spring assist, if I ever had to use this in front of a customer, I've noticed it doesn't really freak people out. Like I said, it's so plain, I guess, that no one really notices it. But the one thing I do have to say, especially with how shallow the grind is, and just like the tip, if you can see right there next to my fingertip, it has chipped out a little bit. Again, that was maybe from zip ties or, I don't know, bumping, but yeah, so this blade could be easy to chip out, but for what I use, it hasn't really hurt the knife's performance. I'm still able to cut through everything like butter, and everything's still fine. Eventually I'll touch it up, but as of right now, I don't really need to. Just because it's functional enough to where I can use it safely. And it's just a gorgeous knife. I mean, the lines on it, the ergonomics and the grip, the shape of the blade, this really cool grind on the blade itself. Visually, it's drawing to me too. So, I guess if I had to go back, which I have, I really fell in love with this knife, and I think I know what I'm going to do for my next carry for this upcoming week and for my next video. But again, like I said, with the Nura is the same with this knife. In going back and carrying this knife, I've really fallen in love with it, and it's going to be hard to set this guy down for a little bit and throw another knife in the pocket, just because I've really gotten so used to having this guy around. But anyway, I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope the rest of your week goes well, and wherever you are in the world, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, or good night. Take it easy out there. Be safe.